Really curious what animal that was.
That was like a combination of a moo and a duck, I think.
I think that's the sound that a hippo makes when it's giving birth.
Sure, we'll go with that. That sounds right.
How's it going, boys?
Good. Just some North American boys ready to watch some North American Dota.
NA Dota's finest here. EG versus Vega, NA versus CIS.
Yeah.
It's going to be one hell of a matchup.
It really will, and I think Vega actually destroyed Alliance. Alliance has looked amazing in every single series in this tournament, every game of the series, except for when they played Vega and they got 2-0 absolutely stomped. So Vega is looking really good, and I think they have a chance to take down EG, which is, I think a lot of people are like, no way, EG's going to take it, but Vega's like a really freaking good team. So
Yeah, you just think about back to, I mean, it was a while ago, ESL New York, though, and Vega just, they made EG look like little boys, which, I mean, some of them are, but.
Yeah, I mean, we talked before about Virtus Pro, a team that often has the number of EG. There's just a history where they kind of struggle against that matchup, and I think Vega has a sort of similar playstyle to VP. Same region, but that they're really good at taking the game at their own tempo. They decide when to take the fights. That's something EG is very good at as well, which creates a really interesting dynamic when they match up.
This matchup is really important to me because I go back to, like Grant was saying, ESL New York. And right before they played Vega, the first day, I believe is what it was, and I was talking about the matchup. And I had the luxury of interviewing EG. I know you talk to them constantly, but for me to interview them was actually pretty cool. And I talked to Sumail about it, and I was talking about no one specifically. I'm like, how do you think you're going to do in that matchup? And Sumail, as confident as ever, I think, was he's something along the lines like, I'm going to crush him. And they lost that series. So I feel like Sumail always kind of has a rough time against no one for whatever reason. I feel like no one is like no one's a bit older than him, but he is one of those young kids, those young mid players that is, I guess you can't even call him up and coming anymore because like he's actually like really good.
He's here. He's arrived.
Yeah.
No one played really well in that first series that Vega played in the upper bracket. And with these two teams, they started in the upper bracket and they won those games. We've only seen EG and Vega play one best of three since we've been in the playoffs here. So we actually really haven't seen them that much. The one series we saw Vega, I think both games, no one really was the standout player.
Right, I agree with that. He had a good mag performance, I think was absolutely outstanding. I think he played Wind Ranger the second game. I might be wrong about that.
I think so. I'm having trouble remembering now.
I don't think it was Wind Ranger now that I think about it, actually. I can't remember.
I do remember the Magnus game, though.
Do you remember where? You weren't here,
He
I
wasn't
think.
here.
I was on a plane,
airplane,
flying in.
All right, yeah, I guess you're excused then.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right, I'm taking a nap then.
He actually was literally on a plane when that series
He was,
happened.
yeah. He was flying in. We had to get him in.
I
And
remember I landed, I was like, so who won that? So how good did Alliance win that? And, they lost in an hour. Huh?
by the way, did you, I hope I'm not blowing up your spot, but did you call in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Very thoughtful.
I have to go.
Actually,
Dude, because they're watching you here, I think
I
like
know.
you're kind of, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Grant's very under the weather.
I definitely just blew up your spot, but that's okay.
Yeah, cough, cough.
Well, we got a baby rage coming in, so it looks like the fans are getting pumped up.
Yeah,
for
gotta love
this
it.
big match here. So we should have a draft coming pretty soon. Do we have a tentative countdown here? If we're at all delayed, we could take a look at some of the previous highlights. All right, we'll check out some of the highlights. So we'll look at some of the Vega, EG Empire. That's what's up first. So
Yeah, that was.
And this was a 2-1, right?
Yeah,
EG?
it was. And they looked. Sumail played Magnus the second game, and he did not have a good time. And that's because I talked to a lot of people. I've talked to you about this. I think I've talked to Tralf, and I think a lot of, like, Sumail considers Magnus one of his better heroes, I think, right?
No, absolutely. He loves that hero. He loves, like, mid-dominating heroes like Quap and Puck, and then he likes Magnus for, I don't know what reason, but he considers it one of his best.
Style heroes.
although to be fair, Maud, that game I felt like the opposition really did a good job pressuring Sumail, and not allowing him to get those easy blinks.
I mean, it was also on Lux that particular game.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know how comfortable or how much they care about a game on Lux because of really big ping issues coming out from just about everybody on the west side of
Magnus
America.
is not the hero I would want to play with ping
That's
issues.
like what, 200 ping from west to Lux or something like that?
Got to be one of the most difficult heroes to play with a big ping disadvantage.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really into that kind of thing, but
a hero that we've been seeing a fair bit in this tournament, though, with pretty good success is Tidehunter. This was a game, again, where Universe had a pretty good performance.
I think, Universe played well. There was a couple other games like Mind Control yesterday had a really tough time, and I think we saw a couple other offlane Tides not do well, but Admiral Bulldog, I think last series is what it was.
Yeah, he played in game 2.
He
Yeah.
owned in that Tidehunter game, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tied under Puck, too. I mean, we didn't see much Puck mids, and now we're just seeing them all over the place now, and it's one of those heroes we saw, like, yesterday, all those escapes with 5 HP, getting kills. Like,
yeah.
It's one of those stylish heroes. It's always fun to watch.
Aloha Dance's Puck was really good, too. I really enjoyed that.
Do we possibly have some of the Vega highlights queued up? or accessible. I'd love to. I really would like to see who no one was playing.
Yeah,
the non-Magnus series.
We'll get to it here. This is the series.
Up.
It's the Alliance Vegas series. This is where they 2-0'd. So this is the Mag one where he played Magnus, and this was the RP Skewerback. This was the one really good team fight they had.
And this was not the only time they had that RP skewer into the disruptor setup.
Right,
with
they
the static storm
definitely did
kinetic
it a
field.
couple of times.
Super clutch.
Yeah, that was just some insane plays coming out from no one on the Magnus, and just in general, he had a really early blink. He had like brown boots blink. He then went force, and then I think he went a really interesting third item. I can't remember what it was. I don't think it was Refresher.
It was Shadow Blade, I think.
Yeah, well, you're right. It was Shadow Blade.
He used the Shadow Blade to initiate. Like they needed somebody that could initiate without having to burn a blink dagger or take that risk into darkness. So he became that mobile ward almost in a lot of these engagements, and it worked really well. The whiffed static storm here, I think it still ends up being a pretty good fight for Vega.
Yeah, I think this is just what Vega excels at, is really good team fight synergy, almost in every situation. I think Solo is an amazing player, and I think he's a big reason as to why they have a lot of success. I mean, they're just all really good, and I'm actually, if this was a couple months ago even, I'd be like, Vega versus EG, but they've been playing so well, and I don't know, man.
That's one of the cool things about Vega is they have strong individual performances sometimes, but what's impressive about them is how well they just play as a team. It seems like it's seldom when one player goes in and the rest retreat. It seems like their communication is very on point. They don't do things that are too flashy that often, but it's just good, strong, consistent, quality Dota, you know?
Yeah. And that's why you pick like mags and disruptors. You set up those good team fights, and with even just a little miscoordination, it could go wrong. But like even right here, look at this. That's easy team fight.
Yeah, Bulldog's already did before he can get a Doom off or something like that, and
the
Solo
Enchantress
had so much room to work with, and he got so many items. He had Ags and then the Dragonlance. So that's just, once you get those two items, that hero becomes, it's just like I don't even know, a sniper, maybe, I think might be the best analogy I can bring up.
If Beastmaster is available at all in this series, if he's not banned out, that's going to be a very high-valued hero.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You see Mag playing it there, and
that hero's been super highly valued. It can split push, it can push with the team. Like the books, we've been seeing like 15-minute book threes from Bulldog, Bulba.
Yeah, man.
Everyone.
If you can get a Necro 3 at 15 minutes, the damage output is nuts. Like he can almost solo kill anybody. Maybe not a
owning with
tanky
that.
strength hero.
Yeah, Bulldog was owning with, and that's just a hero that I think is valued both very highly in the American scene and the European scene. We see a couple of differences between the two scenes, but that's one hero that is available. Like it's either going to get almost all the time banned, or it will be picked up and put in the offlane in almost every situation.
And it's such a safe first pick, too, because it doesn't really reveal anything about your strategy. It's so versatile. You could team fight in the mid game. You don't have to go Necro 3, even though it's the standard build. You could go a Blink Dagger if you really need that initiation. And, of course, the scouting potential. That's probably one of the biggest aspects of that hero is just having literally a mobile ward.
The Hawks are insane.
Oh, it's so good. So with that said, we've got the draft for game number 1 ready to start, guys. This is your upper bracket finals. No elimination here.
Let's see the pool.
The loser of this will be going down to the lower bracket to face.
Let's see. There's some good supports. Battriders also very good. I think that's going to get banned out. I would not. Earth Spirit's here, so that's really good. Ooh, there's the first ban there. So. What do you see, Grant?
I've seen a lot of good supports in this.
A lot of invisibility heroes. I know that doesn't mean much, but like you have a Bounty, Weaver, and Nyx. I mean, Nyx has definitely been picked up a lot more lately because I mean, the smaller pool Nyx does.
You're missing a Riki, but this is what I love about Captain's Draft is just the unpredictability right as the game starts. First of all, I love fast drafts. That's like one of my favorite things of all time. Because it's just like you have to like get something in and then just figure out what you want to do in such a short amount of time. Secondly, there you could have a draft with no supports. You could have a draft with or no good supports. You could have a draft with like no good strength heroes, and the agi carries are just terrible. But I don't know.
Every game has a different dynamic.
I think both teams are valuing that Enchantress really high. It'll be EG as the last ban. We'll see if they do because we saw Solo playing his games in Universe. I just think Enchantress is so valued in the American scene in the offlane specifically.
Yeah, I'd say EG will probably ban it. They don't have the first pick.
Do you know of any other team that plays the lifesteal the way that Universe does for EG?
No.
Like, I feel like there's no other team that actually like really values that hero as much as they do.
I don't really know.
Nobody that plays it the same style, at least.
The crazy thing, Universe, man, he's the best. He could literally play any of these heroes in the offlane and probably make it work. That's just how good he is.
There was a couple of years ago when he played for Dignitas, and he was a very, very good player. And I think a lot of people knew that, but nobody knew just how good he actually was.
TI3 with Dignitas,
Yeah.
Well, very safe opener here from Vega. Can't go wrong with the Tusk. Very versatile, as we've seen. And a hero that they really like.
So
we've seen Arteezy Veno. Veno seems to be pretty valued to us, and we've seen him been playing it. I mean, a Razor, actually. We haven't seen Razor just in the pool, not even like banned or
Yeah,
really,
you're
we haven't
right.
seen it much.
The
in
RTZ Razor is
Strong,
very
yeah.
popular.
The other hero, kind of like Razor, is the Lycan. We've talked about him a lot, but I don't think any team has played
We've
him. Certainly
seen
not in the
one
playoffs.
No,
I don't think we've seen
I
one.
don't
no,
No.
I don't
seen him
think
picked
so.
in the
We saw him a
playoffs.
lot in the qualifiers, yeah, but
Yeah.
here.
They're going to go for the
that's
line
smart.
first. That's just a support that's standard good. I'm surprised they don't go for Bane because PPD and
Yeah.
Fear both love that hero. We'll see if they do end up picking the Lycan. There's the Razor like you
Yeah.
talked about. But
So-
yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of heroes that EG values highly that other teams just don't really care about, which I think is very interesting.
So Razor likely to be Sumail hero here in the mid lane, or do you think more like a safe lane farmer?
It's actually hard. It
depends,
could
really.
be either way. I think we might see it more mid. Razor and Viper are two of those heroes. Like it's almost impossible to beat a mid, and then you see them go against each other, and it's just a weird matchup.
Yeah,
But Razor's
it's
one of
very
those
strange.
heroes like 1v1. He does not lose many.
Yeah, and
matchups.
it's also even if they send him in, it's not like Sumail could play the safe lane too. It's not like he's really stuck in that mid lane role.
Very good point.
We saw him play support Ogre the other day as well, which I thought was really interesting when Fear played Arc
You're right.
Warden.
You're right.
Well, not the other day, like 2 weeks ago, but whatever.
Tiny Bane. When there's not an IO, we've seen a lot of Tiny Banes asleep into the toss back or just
Yeah.
that dual lane middle. And
Yeah,
we've
that'd
seen
be
Tinies.
the no one Tiny. I think is a pretty damn solid hero, so
Yeah,
a player as well.
Great setup for the Tiny, and also just gives you some reset potential with the Fiend's Grip, ways to make space for the Tiny in those team fights later on in the game.
I'm not sure what EG thinks about Silencer, but it's definitely not a bad pickup here.
Again, that's something that
don't know.
AUI would pick, but
Yeah.
like, of course they don't have him anymore. I mean, he's not a hard hero to play, I don't think, and Fear could, I'm sure, play him more. PPD, but
Looking at offlane, that we still got Timber and I think Clockwork.
Clock
Clockwork
is-
he got that weird nerf with the circle. No one likes the circle cogs. I don't know one person who does.
yeah, and if we have like never, I have not seen Clock since like those changes. I feel like there's been 1 or 2 games with him.
You're right.
And that's like one of Universe's, I think, better or best heroes.
He's crazy. He's usually not like flashy player, but on that, he's just zooming around the map with those hooks.
And like any sort of gap closer for Universe is something that he really loves.
Exactly. And that's why Timber saw could be good as well here, or Nyx.
Yeah,
Nyx
but
is still in the
they
pool.
can also do Timber safe lane for Sumail, which they
Yeah.
really love to do as well.
Yeah, they like. EG just plays such a different game than everyone else. It's like
Yeah.
Peter's theory crafting like during the game instead of like before it. I don't know. He's just.
We haven't
crazy,
mentioned
dude.
the Morphling at all, but that's been
Yeah.
another hero
Yeah,
that's popped into a lot of these
think
drafts.
Pasha likes to play aggressive safe laners generally. Slark would have been the best option here, but they don't. It's obviously not in the pool. I mean, this is assuming Tiny is going to go mid, right? Because I
We
think
assume.
that's a fine assumption, and because no
For
one can
now,
play it
yeah.
very well. And I think that he could go Morphling. I'm not sure if they really want to play it. Lycan, of course, is still available as well. I don't know. It's really interesting just to see who's like what offlaner, because you can also see tough support coming up from Vega too.
Yeah, they're very versatile. There's the Morphling for
Right.
EG, and this is a really interesting draft. I'm looking at it, and I don't think any of the remaining heroes are ideal for the gaps that are left in these drafts. You can tell EG
Right.
burning almost all of their reserve time just on that 4th pick. But now they have a good bit of versatility. They can scale pretty well with the Razor and the Morphling. They can certainly fight pretty early on, and their lanes should go pretty well. A lot of kill potential with a Lion
Right.
And an Ogre running
I mean, the
around.
dual lane mid, if it is going to be Bane Tiny, is going to be rough, especially if they get,
That's true.
Brain Sap or even Enfeeble to shut down the Razor, which would be nice to have for Vega. It really comes down to off lane and safe lane, and I think they're going to pick this. They could pick the off lane first to get the better pick of the litter, but I just don't know. Like Clock, like the Grant was right. Clock's not really that great.
Yeah.
You could play Timber off lane, but it's iffy.
Well, it is 2 strength heroes here for Vega, so it would actually be a pretty good Timber game. I was just about to say, I think they're going to pick the PL here, because you mentioned Slark, and they love those really mobile carries. And
Right.
PL is by far the most mobile carry in this pool.
Right.
Actually, I take that back, because PA, as well as Weaver are in, but they're not that same style they like to go for. And we will get to see the Universe Clockwork after all.
Yeah, this is. I mean, that's really all. You could have gone Timber like we talked about, maybe even like an offlane Pudge, but there's just nothing else really. Like this is his most comfortable hero. He's not going to have a problem playing with it. It's just how much he's going to accomplish. And then of course, Nyx Assassin for the offlane mag, which is going to round out the draft.
Dude, we've seen so much Nyx really look good. I feel like this tournament has made that hero look really good, because he's pretty much forgotten about in Captain's mode.
Yeah,
And there's been a
you're
lot of
right.
games where he's kind of taken over. So
You're right.
with that, we're going to hand it over to our casters. We've got Sunsfan and Purge to take it away for game number 1 of Evil Geniuses versus Vega Squadron.
Thank you, Zyori. So kind of you. Welcome to the PIA Captain's Draft 3.0 presented by Dota and moonducktv. My name is Sunsfan. Joining me is Purge and Pimp on the OBS/production. Purge, I'm going to ask you the question that you most love to be asked.
How am I doing?
How are you doing?
Awful now. Thanks, man. There's more important things to talk about right now, man. First of all, Vega has a bit of a gank lineup, pretty much. Tuskar, Bane, Tiny, Nyx. These guys are all about ganking, but they're going to do this with the result, hopefully, of getting a lot of farm on Phantom Lancer. But they're going to be very good at fighting in the early game, but so is EG. The only hero on their lineup that's not very good at early game is maybe Morphling, but even Morphling is a pretty good early game carry. It's going to take him an item or two until he starts doing massive amounts of right-click damage without fear of dying. So I think both these lineups are going to match up pretty well against each other. It's just going to come down to initiations, team fights. Vision's going to be really important too. Whether that's Nyx Assassin scouting things out while he's invisible, or Ward's allowing Tiny to do avalanche toss combos that kill Lion or Ogre at the start of the fight. So it's going to be a crazy game.
Well, before we get into this, of course, this is the upper bracket finals.
The
The
grand-
loser will go
wow.
to the lower bracket to face Alliance tomorrow in a best of 3. The winner will go to the grand finals, which is best of 5 the day after tomorrow. I do have a question. The panel kind of went over it a bit, but I want to know your thoughts. The cogs being changed to circular. How big of a difference does it actually make?
Well,
It's not like when patch notes were coming out, people didn't really know exactly what to expect. Now it's like a couple months later.
to be honest, I haven't even played the circle clock, and I didn't play clock that much in the first place. I'm guessing that people just don't like it because you can let more units in with you, which means that battery assault it's harder to get people in a 1v1. It might also be a bit harder to block people on cliffs and stuff like that. So I don't really have a full answer or a based on opinion here, but maybe they're having trouble. Look, none of these creeps are actually getting through, for example, for Universe here.
Could be a misplay, or could be the circular.
It could be, but considering how
Considering
skilled
it's
Universe
Universe,
is, like, he
Probably
probably
not.
wouldn't make that mistake. If that was a square, it'd probably work. So if the cogs are circular like that and they have just a little bit of an opening at the front that's farther along, the creeps are more likely to run there than they are to go to the side. So I think it makes a big impact. Oh, you see this ward that was placed in the Radiant, or the Dire? Yeah, the Radiant Jungle. This is the Egypt gold once again.
Great.
It's a Gem TD tower.
Good to hear. That's an official ward from Valve, actually. So,
Yeah, no longer.
what do you mean no longer? Oh, I guess it's
Gem
it's used
TD
for
is-
third-party products now. That's
Yeah,
great.
basically.
It's great to hear.
They're going to try to zone out the Nyx Assassin on the top lane, but it's going to be very difficult to do so. He does have a lot of regen. In the mid lane, it is dual lanes as well. Razor and Ogre versus a Tiny and a Bane. So it's kind of scary here due to the Nightmare, but here comes the first Nightmare. Will he toss back in time? He will.
Oh my! Back into the range creep. Sumail takes a couple hits from the tower, getting blocked by no one as well. Do they have enough damage to actually take him out? He's going to use his Fairy Fire and will live as a result. But that just
Jeez.
shows. I mean, Razor's pretty tanky. Obviously, Fear on the Ogre. Probably not going to go for him, but either one of them could potentially die. And this is level 2 only.
Yeah, this isn't awful for EG there. It did cost all of no one's mana pool. He is about to finish his bottle, so once he gets his bottle, things get a lot better for him. And he is going to fly the bottle out. But trading a salve for that is not the worst thing in the world to happen here. He's also going to put his use his Ironwood Branch to make a tree and then eat that to get double value out of his Tango. So,
Top lane in the meantime,
choice.
Mag uses a Fairy Fire of his own. He gets a nice double impale. PPD taking extra damage from the creeps. So no kill will occur there, but Solo in the meantime taking the Invis rune in the top area.
Yeah, he fought Ogre for that and he slept him. So it did cost all of his mana pool, but he got an Invis. But if you have no mana and you're an Invis Bane, that doesn't matter
and
anyway.
the mana pot gets canceled by Ignite. That is a pretty big play there from Fear.
Nicely done.
Does Bane need to just go back to base at this point?
He's also out of mana, though, so he can Brain Sap once, I guess. He might stand around for a bit. Also, the Tiny could just give him a bottle charge, so I think he stays here. Although he is bottle crowing. He sent that courier back instantly.
Oh, okay. Well, on the other side, though, Fear is going back all the way to base. In the meantime, you hear Cogs going off Universe in this 1v1 versus Pasha. Well, I should say a 2v1 since Sioma is there on the Tusk. What do you think about this lane? So Tusk, PL versus Clockwork. Let's pretend
quite
it's the
good.
old Clockwork since we haven't really seen the newer one.
The cool part is that they can get past Cogs using Snowballs, so whoever does get caught, if it's Tusk getting caught, for example, he can probably Snowball creeps. If it is the carry getting caught and he's already used Doppelganger, then the Tusk can Snowball into it with the clock and then therefore give some survivability to the PL. So it's very hard for Universe to get kills in this lane, which is probably why he's just going Rocket Flare. You get Battery Assault when you want kills. You focus on last hitting and harassing when you get Rocket Flare.
Right. I don't even remember how many other offlaners there were left. I mean, that was last pick for EG. So it doesn't... Oh, as I say, that top lane Fear was invisible. It's going to find Mag with the Fire Blast. Mag level 4 is going to take the Impale very shortly. And pops the Spike Carapace. Fairy Fire. He gets a nice double Impale. Fear's going to continue to right-click. Needs one more.
He's got a boost.
He has a little bit faster move speed. In fact, 2 more is needed.
This is an Ogre, man. He just doesn't
Yeah, you
even
can
care.
just follow him to the ends of the freaking earth.
Will he get him, though? Oh, okay.
Finally, and the first blood goes the way of Fear. Took a while, but they get it nonetheless.
I mean, that's Boots Ogre, man. He's so survivable. He's got 8 armor. He's got a natural, like, 2.5 extra HP. It's amazing. Yeah, Peter is going to deny himself since he was low on HP anyways. Purchases Boots, suicides, and then...
He's like, I don't care. I'm just going to walk right by the tower.
I'll disable myself a little bit of time.
You know, only 750 HP, 8 armor. That's pretty good for a support.
He was also worried about the rotation. It could have been Tiny shifting over a Bane. They're actually going to sleep on Sumail mid, though.
Yeah, they're going to try to do the combo. Level 2 Avalanche into level 2 Toss. Sumail at about 20% HP, getting Static Link off on no one. Here we have the TP support from Fear. Solo might actually get the kill with the right clicks onto Sumail, but first they're going to find the Tiny, and the Tusk rotation ends up finding the trade. 1 for 1. Good rotation from Sioma.
God, it was just a couple mistakes there by both teams. The Tiny accidentally broke the Nightmare because he didn't do any magic damage to break Nightmare before he attacked. So then he ended up being silenced, and then the Bane actually could have just removed it the whole time, but didn't. And so Tiny just got all this damage sapped and didn't get any right clicks off. So Solo messed up, Tiny messed up, and then Sumail didn't pop his salve. He was waiting to pop the wand, and he did, but he popped his salve late, so he lost the salve, and the Bane got the kill. So that was 3 pretty uncharacteristic mistakes here between EG and Vega in the mid lane.
A little bit greedy from Sumail there, but they do get the better end overall. Solo in the meantime, picking a Fire Blast, Impale, Ignite combination, and down he goes. Meanwhile, the Ice Shards are going to block Sumail in, but he's really just stealing the damage from no one. He doesn't really care. With all this support from EG, he's not going to be too scared of any gank potential since literally everybody else is in this lane right now.
I kind of like the fact that PPD rotated here, and he was able to do that because of the fact that he went back to base. If you go back to base like that, you deny to creeps. Most of the time, your opponents just expect you to go back to your lane, but it gives you the ability to go mid. Instead of having to run all the way mid from top and possibly get spotted by wards, you TP to like a tier 2, you approach mid, and then you go for a kill. Now, they did have a lane ward that spotted him, but they still were able to get the initiation for some reason, so good for them.
Can we talk about this lion mask for a second here,
I
please?
actually kind of like it.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get back to that in a moment as Fear is making another transition to top lane, gets the Fire Blast off. There's the waveform. Spike Carapace is up, wants to time it as well as possible. Gets the Impale onto Fear, but I think the right clicks will suffice. Oh, actually, Arteezy not wanting to dive any further. I guess he's not an ogre.
The reason he didn't go in is because he knew if he goes for that kill, the creeps follow him in, and he gets
bot
killed.
lane, Nightmare into a Spirit Lance, and Universe is going to go bye-bye.
Pretty straightforward kill. Same thing with what PPD did, basically. Dies, goes back to a different lane where they're not expecting him, and set up a kill. But if Morphling went in for that kill there, he would have killed the Nyx, but those 2 melee creeps would have been there. He had no mana, and he would have just died to creeps after a support TP came through. So, a little unfortunate, actually. But either way, Fear's doing really well. He's level 4 now. He's got Arcane Boots. That means he's pretty much set on items from the early game, and as long as he still transitions fast, then he's going to be just fine. He picks up a smoke, and he'll be smoking most likely to gank one of the other side lanes. Lion's already set up bottom, though, and Universe is about to hit 6, but he's not going to be there with the smoke. Maybe he's just going to hold it, I guess. Could be set up by another kill on Tiny. I think that would be the best plan here.
I mean, I think one more wave and Universe is 6, so maybe they just wait. But although PPD is now moving over to the bottom rune area, although there will not be another rune for a minute, places a ward. But looking at the CS, we have PL versus Morphling, 44 and 16 to 36 and 17 now. So PL getting the better end of that stick. Of course, he's not really being... Universe right now is just leeching and stealing some last hits with Rocket Flare. He's not really looking for a kill of any kind. But as I say that, you were talking about that smoke, and we're going to see it come to fruition. PPD and Fear move on to bottom lane. Where there's now a tri-lane. Oh boy, this will be interesting.
The Tusk is there. He can cancel. Okay, there they go.
Yeah, they find Sioma. Ignite starts it off.
Good juking.
EG is playing a little bit passive. Clockwork is the first to be nightmared. Spirit Lance finds PPD. Tusk is going to block him off completely, and the right clicks will commence, and down goes PPD. Snowball onto Fear now. It's a 2v1. Don't think they have enough right clicks to take him out. Definitely. Universe is here. Now Mag TP's to bot lane, and Universe looks to be the second kill here in favor of Vegas. They're looking very good. Beautiful Ice Shards blocking in Fear, and although the right clicks don't do too much, the magic damage plus the last couple end up taking him out with ease.
That was everybody on Vega for that fight, actually. Universe used his hook to try to secure the kill on the low HP Tiny, but he wasn't able to get him, and because of that, EG lost a bunch of heroes for nothing. So 3 deaths for them. It was a pretty good gank attempt, but the movement by the Tusk was so important. He juked through the trees, and that meant that the Chainstone wasn't quite there. And they didn't really have that many battery assaults anyway, so it wasn't really a hero they wanted to try to kill. Tusk is pretty survivable. He can always snowball away to creeps, so it was just a hard hero to spot. Anyone else, it would have been good.
So good in this tournament, and I know they've been kind of lackluster the last couple months, or I should say the couple months after the ESL win, which of course was against EG. They knocked them out. That was the first, I believe, tournament that EG played after TI, so a lot of people were expecting quite a bit from them. They just went on the first round.
They were a bit on vacation. You know, they took a bit of a break after winning, of course, as you probably would after you make.
And
that
it was
much
a new
money,
roster,
so.
technically speaking.
Yes, so it was not extremely surprising. I mean, it was definitely surprising, but it wasn't completely out of the realm of possibilities.
Right. It wasn't just a random team because Vega ended up winning ESL, so it's not like it was just some scrub team that they lost to. Obviously.
Yep, absolutely. Vega played really well there.
Quite good right now, as no one getting a little bit extra farm in the jungle. He has 900 gold right now. So for this game, is this just a rush blink for Tiny, you think?
Yeah, in almost all cases it is. You just need to have that ability to one-shot people, and there's heroes that he can kill. Clockwork's HP isn't amazing this early in the game. Lion is a target, even Morphling is a target, especially comboed with somebody like Nyx Assassin. So the faster he gets the Blink Dagger, the better, and that's why EG did pressure the mid lane a bit. And this is also why they're putting a lot of Observer Wards in the mid lane. PPD did just get a D ward here, right where his sentry is, and they also put Observer Wards on the other sides of the tier 1 tower mid, just because they want to see where the supports are rotating, if they can go for those kills and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think that gives a little bit of information to Vega too, because now they know that something there is warded that saw the Tusk go through the trees in the mid lane to put down that ward. So we'll see if they end up counter-warding that in addition. As
Yeah.
Universe, like you said, was level 6 now, looking for that first hook shot initiation.
A little bit of a toss onto PPD here, just for some damage.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh boy, apparently
Ooh.
Fiend's Grip was used.
Radiant
Ooh.
structures
On an
are
illusion, that's
fortified.
a bad sign.
I mean, Tiny can get some solo kills if he can get in good position, but right now they're all being set up by Nightmare, so they might need to wait. We'll see.
I mean, Nyx Assassin could really get something done. He's
Yeah,
been
that's true.
level 6 for a while. I feel like Mag, he participated in that bot team fight, but we haven't seen him do really anything since then.
Yeah, Mag's top lane right now. Arteezy seems to be feeling the pressure, as there are a couple of heroes behind. He doesn't see them, but feeling the tingling for sure. There were a ton of members of EG in the mid lane. They couldn't find anything out of that, and are just forced back into their lane to get some XP bottom for PPD, who is not too far from getting level 6, actually, so the burst damage is going to be online for him pretty shortly.
So in the meantime, Morphling is just going to pull a stack for the small camp. He can kill that later with a waveform and a couple right clicks, and he will stay in his lane. But Mag really does need to get some kills off. The hero is still going to scale very well into the late game, but he hasn't really been setting up for things. He's still sapping some experience, and I really wish that he was actually going for kills. They should be pressuring probably Razor, maybe going for a support kill potentially. Maybe Smoke plus Nyx Assassin could be really straightforward and easy. But for now, he's just kind of sitting in his lane. Maybe it's to threaten Arteezy a bit, but Arteezy has left the lane now. They're going for a smoke gank.
Triple smoke gank here for EG, but their entire
Oh,
team
they're
is down
expecting
here.
it.
Universe is going to be seen first. Sioma gets the snowball off. Nightmare onto Universe in the meantime. PPD almost dead right off the bat. He's going to be the first to fall in this engagement as Solo trying to create some space for his team. As there's a Clockwork
Oh, they got Mag.
initiation on the Mag in his invisibility Vendetta. They had a nice sentry placed there as no one and Pasha are forced to run away. And this tower
Radiant's
might
bottom
just be
tower
sacked as
is
a
under
result.
attack.
That was a really interesting team fight. Both teams basically predicted each other's movements there. They said, okay, they're smoking bottom, we're going to smoke bottom. And then, because I think a lot of the common consensus right now in this patch is that the most important area of the map is the Radiant jungle right now because it is so open and there's so many paths that it leads you to every other lane basically. So if you take this tier 1 tower, it opens up the map for you, which is why EG rotated all of their heroes down there so that they could take a really straightforward team fight. They could win that fight, and now they're going to transition this into putting Observer Wards all throughout the enemy jungle. So next thing that's going to happen is, can Vega de-ward those wards that they're expecting in the enemy jungle? Because now there's more places that EG can get farm on the map, and they have a gold advantage.
Dumel right now with drums, treads, and I'm assuming, is SNY a good choice this game? Does he go BKB for that burst damage of Tiny?
SNY is normally good, but he already bought Drum, and those two items are pretty similar in what they accomplish. So usually when somebody buys a Drum, they're not going to go SNY, and if they do, I think it's a little bit inefficient.
Oh, hook shot onto no one by Universe. Snowball's
great
going to
snow.
bring him out of the Clockwork Cogs, as you were talking about early game, but no one will find his way to the grave regardless, as Pasha rotates in, gets a nice Spirit Lance onto Universe. Fear gets stunned by the carapace as Sumail gets Fiend's Grip, a full duration one, in fact, dies 1 for 1, carry for carry. Fear attempting to run away. Impale's going to be on 2, but the Doppelganger beautifully dodged, and he takes out Fear as a result. And now the Nightmare, well, it does dodge a little bit of damage from the Snowball, but PPD will not get out of here in time. The Cogs are a little bit too late. TP support coming in. Fear, he bought back into the game. Pasha is going to take a Fire Blast, has absolutely no mana, takes an Ignite, but he's pretty healthy overall. Don't think Fear can find this by himself.
It's going to be tough, especially with
Arteezy
Solo
has
here.
haste, though. They're going to find Solo on this Bane at the very least. They're going to wake up Arteezy so he can get that last hit. That's a double kill for him. He's rounding out his Lincoln down pretty soon now.
Yeah, very nicely done there by Fear to go for that kill. Like, Ogre is so strong in the early game that even if he does not get that much gold from that team fight, even the experience gain that he gets is massive. He actually got the most experience in that fight out of anybody on his team. And a very leveled Ogre Magi can help scale the hero better in going into the late game. Like, he really just needs levels, and occasionally nags can be really nice. So, great fight from EG, and they get some advantage.
At what level do you get? We've talked about this so many times this tournament.
Bloodlust.
Everybody seems to, Bloodlust. We've seen Bloodlust level 2, right? At one point.
I really like what Fear's done this game, basically. He's played very aggressive. He's gone for kills. He's tanked towers. He's hit heroes. And he's gotten a lot out of that. And now he can get Bloodlust, and he's not behind, really. Like, he could grab a Bloodlust at 8, and I wouldn't have any problem with that. But he could also get more Fire Blast, depending on what he wants to do. But at least one Bloodlust is probably completely worth it due to his huge mana pool. It'll basically give all of his cores a Sanjin Yasha. 10% movement speed, 30% attack is amazing at this stage in the game. Especially on Morphling. He's a slow hero, and he attacks for a lot of damage.
Late game, it's going to be pretty scary if they get to that point. No one, in the meantime, picks up his Blink Dagger officially, so expect the aggression to even get more ridiculous. PPD, Snowball, Sioma gets the Walrus Punch, and one Impale takes him out. Technically, there's 2 Impales in this game, and I'm going to call them Impale, because I refuse to say Earth Spike, just letting you know in advance. Universe, in the meantime, looking for a potential hook shot. He gets initiated on instead, and blocked off by the Ice Shards. Nicely done. The hook shot will not connect on the teammates. But no escape. As Fear, that is a long-ass Fiend's Grip. No way that's in range. I'm actually highlighting it right now. Bug, whatever you want to call it, Fear will find his way to the grave one way or another. No one in the meantime getting some damage sapped by Sumail. A nice Ice Shard block, keeping him in place.
Vega played so well there. Like, the Fiend's Grip, he starts his animation to keep walking, and then it becomes really long by all
I mean, it would be
means,
pretty garbage if it never did that, right?
Sumail tries to turn things around, and they keep covering each other, whether it's Sleep or Ice Shards. They keep attacking, disengaging, and putting them in a bad spot. And now both Arteezy and Sumail are here. Can they get the tower?
Yeah, they're looking for the tier 1. The only ones to defend are Mag and Solo, although there's a TP coming in from Tiny. That's who they have to really fear. Gets a nice toss onto Arteezy, who waveforms out. The cogs are going to block everybody off, except for Universe, who's taking quite a bit of damage. But the Finger of Death is used to take out Nyx Assassin as Sioma in the middle of 4 EG members. But beautiful Impale on top of all of that from PPD, and that is 3 dead in the blink of an eye for Vega. Pasha on the run. Arteezy has a waveform in 5 seconds. Probably going to go for the Adaptive Strike first. But it looks like Pasha will live to see another day.
Give him a Bloodlust Ogre. He hasn't skilled yet. Hasn't noticed.
Has he leveled since then?
Yeah, he's 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he's got 1 skill point that he could
He's
put
holding
in.
it right now. Okay. Unless he went. No, he did not go stats. So.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the Urn Arcane Boots. Probably he'll turn Arcane Boots into Aether Lens. It's a really good Ogre item due to the nerfed range of Fire Blast and just the fact that Ignite is already a really huge range ability. Put an extra 200 on that means it's gonna come from the darkness.
Not
in a
too
lot of
bad.
cases.
I mean, that puts him back to where he used to be, right? I can't remember how much was nerfed in his
Fire Blast.
Just his range in general. For like Fire Blast. Yeah.
It was pretty significant. It used to be a regular range spell. Great hook shot.
Oh, we have a hook shot onto Solo. That's gonna be a pretty damn easy kill. He gets the brain sap off the last moment. He's trying to do it with the batter, so it's canceling it. Finally gets it off, and that's enough to take out the poor Clockwork. Fear is next on the list. As Sumail's trying to help his teammates. It's a 3-for-1. The Bane is the only casualty right now. Snowball does not connect, not even close. Drums pop by Sumail. He's super duper fast.
Dude, he suicided.
Bane with Nightmare?
Yes.
Oh my god, so it's a 3 for nothing.
He nightmared right when the plasma field came through and he killed himself.
Boy.
And that means 3 kills for nothing. And that is the problem with not maxing battery slot, is that it takes forever to kill somebody. Now, he needed to max out Rocket Barrage for the team fight and the laning stage, and it's been useful, but they needed to get that kill. But Bane was just so survivable. Plus, the other heroes showed up and they blew line up. So that was one of the other damage sources that was pretty useful. So PPD's been doing great considering the heroes he's playing against, but he needs to get some tanky items soon. He might even want to skip Blink Dagger and go a Bracer or 2, or a Cloak, maybe Fast Glimmer Cape perhaps. Like, he needs to stop dying to the Tiny, because Tiny is going to aim from every single fight.
Yeah, and now Tiny, of course, has been the main issue for EG, but look at this. Diffusal Blade on Pasha, on top of a Yasha. I assume he just goes Manta right now after this, and then into extreme tankiness, probably with a heart or something to that effect.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he's looking pretty damn good, and looking at the net worth, he is second. Arteezy is the only one ahead, but not by that much.
He's more than pretty good. He's 4-0 and 6. He's going to manage in the illusion to one-shot it here. He'll heal back up, but when an enemy carry is doing this well, it's really scary for your team. Sumail's doing quite well also. 3-2-6. He is going for an SNY actually. He picks up a Halberd, or Assange, sorry. And they're looking for the swing around.
And EG's here in spades. They're going to find... Oh my god, that was a hook shot onto him. I don't even know if that was on purpose.
It wasn't.
It was invisible. It ends up perhaps saving the life of a comrade, as Sumail's going to be the target of choice for Vega. They're going to find him pretty easily, as the trade is a Tusk. If they can get away, that'd be a beautiful trade, but Solo gets ignited and brought down with that Finger of Death. So it's a 2-for-1. And this, I mean, EG's behind, so I guess that's a good trade, but you lose Sumail, which is definitely not what you had planned.
Yeah, it's for the fight recap, it's a slight gold advantage going to EG. But the big thing is the experience, actually. They got like 30-40% more experience than their opponents. So I think that's going to be worth it as a whole, even though that was their Razor.
That was super bad luck with that Invis. I think they placed the sentry right afterwards.
It basically means Sumail gets ditched and feels a little bit upset about it. So as long as he keeps his emotions intact there, it's going to be no big deal.
Well, Spike Carapace used onto Fear, going to hold him in place. PPD dies right off the bat again, and you're seeing the Diffusal come into play. As that is another kill going away of Vega. Universe is next. And this is looking really good for Vega. They just clean up.
Yeah, Universe is not scaling very well. 0-5 and 9 now. Really good vision for Vega's resulted in a lot of kills on him. And they just overly pushed. The two supports get picked off. On the bright side, Sumail did not die there. And again, Arteezy hasn't died. So while the game is looking kind of bad for a lot of EG's players, Arteezy's 6-0 and 3. He's got a Ghost Scepter, a Lincoln's, and Aquila Treads at 20 minutes. This is ridiculous farm.
Yeah,
he's a hero that's going to scale far better into solo killing people as the game continues. And there's a lot of things that Vega can do to deal with it, such as Nightmare, Spiked Carapace, Snowball. But Morphling will start killing people by himself, and it could push EG into advantage as the game becomes slightly more stagnant in the late game.
And on the other side, Tiny picks up Shadow Blade, so he's going to be cleaning up literally everybody on their team other than maybe Morphling and Razor.
Yeah.
And that's going to be pretty damn scary. Of course, that means 2 invisibility heroes, technically.
Yeah, this is the dance of the future now. It's the ganking Tiny with the Shadow Blade or the Morphling.
Yeah.
Which team is going to get more kills as the game continues? And that all comes down to map vision and prediction and seeing where you think people are going to be.
Universe working towards his Blade Mail, needs another 600 gold or so. And just an FYI for this series, EG won the coin toss, so this game is on East.
Okay.
Game 2 will be on Lux, and if there is a Game 3, it will be on East again. So, like people like Universe, this is when you can pick heroes like Clockwork and not have to worry about ping too much.
Yeah, Clockwork is definitely a very ping-sensitive hero. They're going for the Roche. No Blade Mail yet on Clockwork. They're going to throw an Ice Shards into the Roche pit, though, and approach. The Observer Ward that they had in the area just fell, but EG by far has the better vision. Can they kill the High Ground Ward? It's really important. They're not focused on it, though.
Oh, Impale completely misses for Mag.
All right, the Ward's dead.
And a Clockwork misses for Universe. My goodness. Solo's going to get a Fiend's Grip onto Sumail. Snowball to follow. Bane's going to be blown up by Arteezy. And Sioma's next on the list. That's a 2-for-1 right off the bat in favor of Vega, as Sumail's in the midst of things with his ultimate applied and Static Link on Pasha. Pasha's just getting blown up to the waveform and the right clicks. A triple kill for Arteezy as he's trying to take over this game for EG. And Mag attempting to run away, but Sumail has ridiculous amounts of damage right now. And, he might be able to get him, but Arteezy saves the day again, and this is an ultra kill for that beast.
Are they going to go for the Tiny, though? He's looking for Sumail. Sumail's quite low. He could suicide in neutrals.
Ooh.
They see him right now for sure.
PPD doesn't have a blink or anything of that nature.
He's going to have to Hex. Doesn't get it.
No one blinks away, and this might be a free Roche.
And they rewarded in the same place that wasn't spotted. Very smart of them to do that. They said, okay, they put sentries in there clearly, but they couldn't find our ward. That means if we replace the same place, they might not find it again. And that ward is huge. If it wasn't there, it just would have been an easy Roche for EG. And they still did win that fight, but that's just because they were set up with wards in the first place.
And they're not feeling too comfortable to go for Roche without Sumail on that Razor. They're just going to give it a second attempt now that he's full and healthy and on the way back. And there you see the Bloodlust level 1 coming into play.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with this build here. Maybe he should have gone Bloodlust 1 level earlier, but 3, 4, 1. Ignite is by far his best damage source. They don't have any ways to remove it. They go in.
Shot onto Sioma. Can he get off the Snowball? No, just gets insta-gibbed. As EG, looking for more kills, Pasha gets a little bit of damage stolen. Sumail wanted a little bit of longer duration, but not going to find it. Mag in the meantime. Do they have Dust? Yes, it's already applied. And it looks like he's going to be next on the list again. So EG finding 2 more kills going their way, and this should finally be a free rush for them.
Yeah, they're finally just stomping their team fights, and things get even scarier. 2,400 gold now on Morphling. He's so close to an E-Blade. They're going to have a Blade Mail as well in Universe, so even though Universe is kind of the one that's been taking the brunt of the ganks and the initiations, he's going to remain relevant the whole game with initiations, with Cogs.
Yeah, it's been him and PPD that have been dying the most consistently and the earliest. And a lot of it's come down to who can initiate first, and that time it was obviously EG. PPD has a bracer. So
you have to do that sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
If you're against a
absolutely.
Morphling or if you're against a Tiny, sometimes that 100 HP difference is everything about whether or not
What do you think
die.
about like a casual cloak this game for him?
I think at this stage he either buys Cloak and then goes Blink, but I think it's a little safer for him to get Blink considering the position they're in. If they were still losing or trading slightly uneven, then I would say, yeah, maybe he needs survivability, but they've been 5-manning pretty heavily this game, and it's been forcing the enemy team to 5-man, and that means that his teammates can kind of protect him as long as they have some wards down. So I think he just goes Blink now. That's another way to stay safe, because then you can just hide in trees, and Tiny's probably not going to find you there if he doesn't see you run into them. So the safety is mobility, really. If he goes in trees, waits for Tiny to go in, then he can jump out and initiate, and then his survivability is far higher.
Well, Vega had the lead originally, about a 2.5 to 3K lead, and with that fight, EG has just barely taken the lead for themselves now. So the game is relatively even overall. Late game, I'm assuming, well, I mean, PL is pretty damn good late game, but against the Morphling, who do you actually favor? Just all things considered equal.
I definitely favor Morphling. I think he might die right now, though.
He does have Aegis. He could deny this tower if he wants to, and no one's just going to say, hey, you should have denied it.
Oh, no. The pause.
Does that mean Arteezy disconnected? Oh, they just need to get the door. The pizza has arrived.
That's...
What kind of pizza does EG like, Purge?
Cheese, for sure. I know Sumail
Oh, that's true.
literally only eats
Sumail
cheese.
only eats cheese pizza. That's true.
Cheese and Chipotle.
But not
Nothing else.
Chipotle. They have delivery?
It's
It's Charlie at the door. Hey,
Yeah.
guys, I got your food.
You guys locked me out again. Bastards.
All right, the Tier 2 tower goes the way of Vega, and we'll see if EG's going to eat while they play.
To answer your question, I think that Morphling is a little bit stronger of a late game carry. If the enemy team doesn't have good lockdown options or good AoE, then Phantom Lancer is really solid, but it's going to take... Like, if they ever find PL and they initiate on him, he just kind of dies to chain nukes. Versus if they go on Morphling, Morphling can always do Strength Morphine.
Right.
So I feel like he's a little more survivable. Plus he has a Lincoln, so he doesn't have to worry about
He's
that
more
initiation.
dynamic in general. I mean, when I look at, like, Captain's Draft heroes, every time I see Morphling, he just seems to be the strongest in the pool a lot of the times. It's not always the case. Like, Medusa... Actually, how would you... Like, Medusa, she's a harder carry because she can go Rapier. That's the one limitation for...
But her issue
Morphling,
is that
right?
she's teamfight based, and she doesn't have super good single target damage. She's more of an AoE carry.
Yeah, that's true.
And AoE carries can't snowball by killing enemy heroes like Morphling can, and that's a huge threat that changes the game. It means that your enemy carries can't just like go solo farm, or your supports can't go solo farm. It's the difference between picking Slark and Medusa. One of them is clearly has a very different playstyle.
Well, Arteezy does have that shotgun built. It's a sawed-off shotgun. That's what I like to call it, Purge.
Why is that?
Because they're cooler. Have you ever seen Army of Darkness? That's what made that cool.
It's a great movie, but
Sawed-off shotgun's the way to go.
A sawed-off shotgun is the purpose is to spread the pellets, whereas an E-blade very clearly only hits one target.
That may be correct technically. It's still not as cool. All right? So just chill. Sawed-off shotgun.
Chill with my logic, okay. That's why I'm here, though. I mean, do I
Mantis style picked up.
just want me to stop being
No,
myself?
it's okay. It's all right. I appreciate it.
All right.
Pasha, in the meantime, picks up the Manta for himself. And is this mask, this Morbid mask, going to be made into like a Vlad?
I don't think so, and that's why it's just like that, because if you buy Vlad's, you're spending an extra 1,500 gold.
And you just get rid of it eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, he bought this because he wanted to be able to hardcore jungle and not have to worry about missing 20, 30, 40% HP if he keeps doing it. So by just getting the Morbid mask, he does a slight investment and being able to jungle.
No one initiated by Universe. Finds him with that hook shot, and here comes Arteezy. E-blade pops, and down goes the Tiny.
It's a pretty good kill, and EG continues to run as 5. They're not going to stop doing this. PPD's up to 1,300 gold, so no blink just yet, but he's getting kind of close. They don't have a gem yet either, but that's such a big kill.
It looks like Solo might be building the Vlads, by the way.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a Vlad's to me, unless he's like, I need a Basilius and a mech pipe or something.
That's definitely, that could be possible. You never know. As
and
a tier 2 tower takes some damage.
It's kind of cool that way too, because if his ally has a Vlad's and he's got a Morbid mask, those stack, so he's going to be getting
Yeah.
about 30% lifesteal. could be really useful against heroes like Morphling. Now, PL is okay against Morphling. He can drain Morphling's mana. So if Morphling is being chain stunned, then PL can do a lot there.
Arteezy's Lincoln has been activated. Of course, he still has Aegis for another minute or so. And EG want to take full advantage of that. A lot of teams just don't bother. Oh my god, Solo almost insta-gib by the shotgun build, the sawed-off shotgun, if you will. Thank you very much.
I will not.
The long-range half sawed-off shotgun. It's a new prototype in Dota.
They're going to try to kill the PL illusion that was created by Morphling here.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's
that's
very
really
survivable.
Good. Damn, that's a really good thing to get.
Yeah,
as Morphling.
it has a Phantom Rush. It's got a Diffusal Blade, quite good.
If only it was like Arc Warden, you can use the items as well. My goodness,
Yeah,
how
definitely
balanced.
balanced.
Hook
They go-
shot onto, from Universe onto no one. It's already at half HP. He's almost getting blown up. The snowball will keep him alive a little bit longer, but down he goes to the finger of death. Aegis is used. Arteezy's coming back, though. It's a 5v3. He's getting Fiend's Grip, multicast onto Arteezy.
He needs a morph. He's going to
With
die.
the Bloodlust, and my god, EG is just running over Vega. Mag and Pasha are forced to run away, and Arteezy can just right-click with relative ease, although there is no creep wave as of yet. So they have a little bit of time, does Vega, but it's still a 5v2. Arteezy quite low.
He's going to be okay, though. He played that very smart. He didn't need to morph because most of the damage sources were gone, so he just waited out so he'd still have waveform, and he gets a kill with it. They actually can't just stop the push now, and this push just gets better and better with Bloodlust.
Pretty huge impale, but not really going to matter too much. As this melee racks will fall, and EG is going to be satisfied with that as they run away.
And Arteezy finally just realized, you know, if I'm out of mana, these really don't do that much damage. They're going to... Well, are they going to fake back?
And we'll see the initiation onto Fear. He's just going to TP out, but nope, the Impale will cancel it. Universe on the other side is getting beaten down by Pasha. Pops the Blade Mail a little bit too late, though. Fear does some damage, will fall in the end.
Well, Arteezy is healing right now, and he's got an illusion in position,
Oh, you're
so
right.
he could come back, but it looks like the fight's ultimately over. They only lose Ogre Magi. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, I thought Universe might die in there, but he just casually walked away.
Just did that walking.
And now EG can just chill and just wait for the next Aegis now that they have map control and the lead, and just rinse and repeat. I
Yeah.
mean, what can Vega do in this instance? They just need to find solo pickoffs with Tiny, which are
with
becoming
any of
increasingly
their
difficult.
heroes. With any of their heroes. Like, they just haven't gotten any kills off. And obviously, it's largely because EG's been 5-manning, but there are going to be some times. Deep wards would be really good. They are probably going to have to start putting them in weird places because it's very likely that EG gets a gem soon. Looks like Tusk is going for the mech, and yeah, most likely the Vlad's on the Bane here, like we thought earlier. But there's Aether Lens on Ogre now, so he can initiate from farther range. He's got a cloak on top of that, so that'll resist pretty much everything Tiny does. Ogre is not really an option to kill anymore.
Are you a little surprised that, I guess he hasn't really had that much issue, but are you surprised that Bane didn't go straight into Aether Lens himself?
Aether Lens is good on Bane, but I think the Glimmer Cape was also very smart because it'll save somebody from the E-Blade combo. Or anybody that Clockwork's on top of. Like, if Clockwork hookshots somebody, Lion's going to fall up with a Finger of Death and an Impale, and that alone is like 850 magic damage, so they needed a Glimmer. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, in that instance, the Glimmer didn't really help because EG just had way too much damage, and then Tiny
Exactly.
was out of position. And I think the main spell to save with is Snowball. And we've seen it a couple times, but in the last instance, he just snowballed Tiny back into the fight, and it was just an unfortunate. I mean, there's not a whole lot he could have done in that state.
Yeah, it definitely only does some. It only does so much sometimes, and I don't think Tiny is really the right carry to try to scale against a Morphling. He isn't the only carry they have. Again, they have PL as well, but until he makes at least Scotty and maybe a Butterfly, PL's still going to be a little bit vulnerable to the enemy team. Maybe it'd be nice for him to have a Blink. That way he could jump in the back line and try to kill supports. But he's just getting picked off pretty easily. If they just like static field and waveform him, they know which one's the real one.
No one looking for a solo kill on Arteezy. He just morphs up and he's okay. As long as he doesn't die to the initial brunt of burst damage, he's going to live every time in that 1v1.
Yeah, Morphling absolutely got past that dangerous moment. He hasn't died yet. He's 13-0-6. If Vega shows up and ganks him early game with Blink Dagger Tiny and maybe a level 6 Nyx Assassin, they could have gotten some kills, but they just never found those kills in the early game. And now there's a Scotty up on Morphling.
Yeah.
Like, he's incredibly farmed now.
Pretty
Very
dirty.
survivable.
And on top of that, Sumail has a Shiva's Guard completed. Universe has the Force Staff. And things are looking really good for EG right now.
Yeah.
Mag?
Shiva's so good.
Yeah, Shiva. Yes, it is.
And well, I was going to keep going, but I
okay.
thought you were cutting me off, so I was like, well, you can.
It's really good, yeah.
It's really good against PL illusions because increasing their attack speed is very difficult. You have to buy agility items. So if you can reduce their attack speed, they can't just counter it by buying something cheap that gives attack speed like Moonshard, for example.
Does Shiva's work on Roche? I know it's not as good as it used to be, the minus.
I'm sure
attack
it does,
speed.
yeah.
Not that they really need help with Roche at this point.
Yeah, they don't. But Shiva's very good against illusion heroes like PL. And not only that, but you can do the AoE damage.
Right.
You can slow them after they've already done Phantom Rush, and then they're also eliminating their DPS. There's a lot of really good reasons that
I like this
Shiva's
pickup by
great.
Sumail. I assume he's going for Aghanim Scepter, which isn't like the most common thing on Razor these days, but considering that they're already up 1 Rax, they might as well just get everything to take out the buildings pretty damn easily.
Yeah, it'll help him really good against Tiny as well. Just overall HP, and Tiny's armor is quite low, so being able to lower his armor faster is going to be strong. And Tiny's being forced into a BKB, which means the Eggs on Razor is going to be even better. Like, he has to get BKB just because Morph could happen to throw a sawed-off shotgun combo his way.
Thank
and,
you, yeah.
God, that was disgusting. But
Yeah.
he has to get BKB, and it puts him in a bad spot. So all the items are coming up towards EG's favor right now.
Yeah, and Arteezy, I just feel like is unkillable at this point. Has the Aegis. I mean, it's going to be hard enough killing him once, but twice is going to be
Yes.
very difficult.
They've got to break his Lincolns, and then they have to kill him afterwards. On the bright side, by getting the Scotty, his int is quite a bit higher. So the mana drains coming from Nyx's Ass are going to do about 400 damage. That's pretty good.
It's not too bad, yeah.
4-second
good.
cooldown on that. Yeah, I'll take it.
But the Vlad is completed on solo. That's fine.
Yeah, who cares?
As EG groups up bottom lane, the Razor is used as a diversion. And the E-Blade combination on solo, again, getting him extremely low. It's just for chip damage, honestly. Just forcing him back to Fountain so they have less numbers as the buildings are being pounded down by EG. Mag, look at all these long-range abilities EG has. They barely have to commit to do that much damage. Pretty insane. As a tier 3 tower is now going to go down, Sumail with that ultimate popped. Getting close to his Aghanim Scepter, only about 1,000 away. No one, it looked like he wanted to initiate. He's going to get blown up. Oh my god. Pops the BKB, but it's too late. Nice avalanche
Okay.
at the last moment. Arteezy continuing
He's
the
gonna
pressure.
live.
He's barely going to live. He's going to blink away back to base, but Sioma is going to pay the price for his insolence. Sumail's getting a nice Fiend's Grip from Solo, who just gets bursted down by Arteezy. And there's the Finger of Death on the Pasha, uses his doppelganger, that godforsaken name of a skill. As that is 3 dead for Vega.
And they just win the fight with everybody on very low HP. They didn't get completely lucky, I guess, because the Tiny was able to get away, but that's
Don't
just
die to the creeps, Arteezy.
that's the threat that Morphling provides here.
Don't do it again, Arteezy. Don't
like
die
last
to them
time.
creeps. No one could potentially blow him up, but that is only the Aegis they have to worry about. As Pasha is the target of choice. Avalanche Toss will completely miss. And that is a second Rax the way of EG.
He's low. We're not going to get him, though.
I mean, that's another few minutes left on the Aegis, so it actually would be worth it to try to take that out. But alas, Morphling will go back to base.
Yeah. They're playing very safe. Actually, Morphling's just healing. They could fake back with this. He's even going to need a little bit of a
The
salve.
illusion is being used. Avalanche misses again for no one. Just can't find a whole lot right now. Spear will be the sacrificial lamb for EG.
He accepted his fate right
Yeah.
there. That was pretty clear. He goes for a Glimmer Cape, so he's going to have Glimmer Cape, Aether Lens, Earn with a Wand. He might have a little bit of mana problems, but he has so many good utility items right now. And Ogre is kind of a hero that can get away with that, since he doesn't need to buy survivability items. He's got one of the highest strength gains in the entire game, and he's an int hero. So he just buys all these utility items, he covers his team, he throws out some useful abilities, and he's super leveled because he's been playing well. Here's been really, this is how Ogre should be played, in my opinion.
Vega going for a, I guess you can call it desperation smoke. I feel like this might be it. But the problem is Phantom Lancer's not there. I thought he might have Boots of Travel, but not going to be able to make it to whatever gank they are attempting. Mag with the Vendetta. He could potentially find PPD. That would be a pretty easy kill for him, as no one's going to take it from the miss. He's going to live at least for now, but finally goes down as Arteezy taking a full duration Fiend's Grip, it seems. BKB pop by no one. He's stuck in the cogs. Arteezy's fine. He's very healthy, actually. And, of course, he can get off that Strength Morph during the Nightmare. He's going to waveform out. He's very low
dead.
now. Aegis will pop. And Vega is surrounding him. Sumail, in the meantime, has Shiva's up still, pops its ultimate. And Solo's just going to get right-clicked down by Arteezy. Pretty much no problem. Sioma going to give some damage to Sumail. And
might
then
die.
2 dead right off the bat. 2 for 2. As Arteezy getting quite low. His mana is being burned to a high degree thanks to the Fusible. He's attempting to TP out. Are they going to find the kill? He barely lives in
serious?
Fountain. Are you kidding me? Sumail, in the meantime, attempting to run away. A very long-range Ignite from Fear. As Sumail is doing some damage invisibly thanks to that.
What a fight,
Well,
man.
I don't even
How did
I don't even know
Arteezy
what to
live
think
there?
of that, to be honest.
You
I mean,
know, the way he died the first time was, I believe, that was Tiny abusing cleave mechanics. He hit something next to Morphling,
yeah.
which means that the damage you do is not affected by armor. So Morphling runs around at 1800 HP with 35 freaking armor, but if you cleave a little bit, it's actually quite good against him. So he may have to be careful about Tiny, especially as Tiny is going to transition to some attack speed items and maybe even like a Daedalus. There's still a chance that Vega can win this. That fight was really good for them, but it was a perfect engagement. It was basically 2 EG heroes at the start and all of their heroes in that fight. But PL's now got a Scotty. His Scotty's picked up. He's got the full mid game basically. Butterfly is probably going to be his next pickup.
What did Arteezy buy? Like, why does he not have any gold? I feel like he should have way more gold than this.
Surely there's something on the courier? No?
No, there's
I don't
nothing.
know.
It's interesting. It's not like he bought
Did he
back
get
or
a moon
anything.
shard?
Right? There's
No.
no way. It was just the Aegis, and then he barely lived.
Maybe he just hasn't been farming this whole time.
He's just buying wards for PPD. PPD is just screaming in his ear, "Buy me what?" He has to comply with the leader. Is they going to group up top
They're
lane?
going to find a courier. It's got a Hyperstone. It's going to be for Tiny, I assume.
That would
Yeah,
be
it
a
is.
pretty good.
They're looking for it. He
take
puts a
out.
ward on the high ground. They see now it's
Oh
dead.
boy, it's going to take one more right click, and he gets it. No Hyperstone for you.
They will
Is
lose a
that-
ward for that, though. But I think that's absolutely worth it for
Oh,
them.
absolutely. They don't care anymore. As this tier 2 tower will fall, Arteezy has a rep get up for another 35 seconds.
That severely limits Tiny's right-click damage.
Indeed.
They will be looking for Hook.
There's not any BKBs yet for EG.
Oh,
so
no
he's
one's
gonna
dead.
get the burst damage. As Tusk apparently
seen that.
dies. Excellent. Was
That-
that Morphling?
That was just the Ethereal Blade adaptive strike.
That's
That was
rough,
it.
man.
He didn't even have to wait for him.
So no save. EG's going to perhaps try to force out the buyback, but it's not there. 40 seconds on the deck for Tusk. That's a 5v4. High ground ward is taken out by Vega, so EG will not have vision of this. And I believe that's what it was used, I'm guessing, for Arteezy to actually burst him down from the low ground.
It was placed a little bit later, I think. But
Okay.
he basically just waveformed into all their heroes and killed somebody and got out. It was, it's Morphling things, man.
All right, EG not looking to force the issue, at least not yet. As Pasha dodges the adaptive strike, his hookshot onto Solo. He's going to use his Glimmer Cape, but I don't know how long it's going to keep him alive. Oh my
it's
god, the
pretty good.
burst damage out of control for Pasha and no one. The cleave is wrecking everybody as Arteezy's the first to fall, and EG has to be forced out of the base. Sumail not going to get out of this one, good sir. Nice impale by PPD. Ice Shards are going to completely block in Universe, attempting to TP out. Impale will cancel it, and this could be
They're
close
gonna
to a
fight.
team wipe. As
Okay.
one person, who was it? That was Fear TP's out. PPD, did he?
He also got
He
out.
lived?
And they saved the gem as well. So,
Okay.
man, that was ultra close, but a great fight for Vega. They're going to get 5,000 gold swing, 5,500 gold
Yeah,
swing
that
for
was
that
an
fight.
amazing fight.
And that's basically showing PL is now starting to get really scary here. If they're able to kill Morphling at the start, and maybe Arteezy should be more strength morphed, if they just kill him, the fight's kind of over, because Sumail's not going to scale very well in terms of damage. He's building an AC up next, but he can't deal with all those PL illusions. It's way past the point where Plasma Field does anything to those illusions. So as PL gets his next item and his next item, it literally all comes down to Morphling. Morphling has to pick off a few of the support heroes, and then EG has to overpower those cores. But if the supports on EG aren't alive, or the carries go away, then they're not going to have both pieces that they need, disable and damage, to kill the cores on Vega.
So originally 2 got out, but PPD ended up dying again. Or not again, but just now.
Oh, did
So
he lose,
that's
did he lose the
almost
gem?
close to a team wipe. I assume he did because it's not on him anymore.
There's a gem on Tusk now, so
Yeah.
that's not good.
That's even more gold going away to Vega. Of course, they are 2 racks behind, but they do have a couple heroes that are pretty damn good against super creeps in the name of Tiny and PL.
Yeah, Tiny's okay at backdooring and taking buildings
Yeah,
rapidly.
not too shabby, right?
Yeah. So he does
he's
have
going
Assault
AC
Curious,
as well.
by the way. He just
Okay.
needs his courier to respond. It's got the Hyperstone. He picks up the
Yeah.
plate mail. He's got it.
Right.
So AC now for him. He's got Cleave. He's got lots of attack speed. He's got some minus armor.
I was a little bit surprised
bad.
that EG went for that. His Universe is going to hook shot in, pushes Pasha back. I don't think he wants to fight this.
It's like, no shopping for you.
Yeah. Well, he's just going to TP out.
So he got... Okay, I
Alright.
was wondering. I was like, does he have a Basher and MKB? Why would he go for that clock?
What I was going to say is EG, I was a little bit surprised they didn't just wait for Roche. I thought that's what they were going to do. They were just going to try to force the buyback, but since there was none, with only 15 seconds left on the cooldown of Tusk. I mean, Roshan is the safer choice. Of course, EG's ahead. So
By
a
a little.
little confident, obviously, up 2 racks.
They should be. I think they were pretty well poised to take that, but I think it's just no one's playing very well on the Tiny. He's focusing Morphling appropriately, doing some cleave hits, and that's making all the difference. Arteezy still hasn't gotten more into Strength Morph, but he's got 2k HP. It's not like he's squishy by any means.
Yeah.
But I think he needs...
Yeah, what does he go for next?
I mean, normally I'd say Butterfly, but against Tiny, if he's hitting other things, Butterfly may not be the solution. He could buy more survivability. He could. The typical item would definitely be Butterfly, though.
RTZ being stalked by Mag. Mag not sure if there's vision here. There actually is none. We haven't really seen any like solo ganks from Nyx this game. He has Aghanim Scepter, by the way.
BKB.
Okay.
It's a good choice. The disables are a bit hard. The Mag's right on top of them, but they don't see him. They don't have any detection here.
Oh, they're going to smoke.
They're going to stun all three.
They're going to try to smoke at least.
Everyone's
Mag.
moving.
Oh, I hear a hook shot. It's going to be unknown. Who pops the BKB immediately. Universe extremely low. Gets his blade mail off. Ortiz showing off his newly picked up BKB as Sioma taking a ton of damage. PPD is the first to fall in this engagement. Universe and Mag having a 2v1 as Mag will finally go down. No, he's in his burrow form. They have no vision for him. This is going to be so ridiculously bad for EG as Ortiz has absolutely no mana. Sumail attempting to run away with that ultimate is getting diffused left, right, and center. Pasha just chasing him. Nice impale from ridiculous range as the Lurker has come into play for Vega.
I don't even see how that fight started. It was just Mag completely whiffed his initiation, but he still was eventually able to burrow here. No one will die, though.
Ogre Magi barely gets the kill on Tiny as Fear is invisible for now. No vision for him
great
yet.
Manta.
Pasha. Oh, he has no mana left now. He just gets beat down to these illusions. It's a
Huge kill.
3 for 4 in favor of Vega. They're base, though.
Are they going to win?
They're
Okay,
base.
that's dangerous. That's really dangerous because EG can backdoor this very easily with Morphling at any time in the future of the game. So he had BKB there, but I mean, even with Mag not doing anything good at the start of the fight, he whiffed his stun, and then he stood still trying to burrow for like 4 seconds straight.
Yeah.
He eventually got under, and then that's when the fight became completely one-sided. But EG still can get a pick. They still can backdoor this, or they can just wait till any creep from any lane is in here and then take those buildings.
I mean, how many boots of travel do we have here? None, and 0 for EG right now.
If they weren't 2 racks up right now and the tower, I would be really scared for EG right now because they keep losing fights. They're just not quite scaling right.
Well, they're going to try to go for Rosh, and of course with the super creeps, as they're called, in the mid and bottom lane, that could create enough space for them to take it out. By the way, the tier 3 towers have 9 health and 90 health, respectively.
That's a really bad sign.
And the racks are exposed. The range at half HP as well as the melee. That one will at least regen up a bit.
And as soon as these towers die, everybody on EG gets an extra 500 gold as well. So that's like half a buyback or a third of a buyback.
So are those not worth denying, do you think?
Arguably not. If a hero is there, then they do tons of DPS. So, and Arteezy was scouting out top, pushing out top to try to get Vega to go there, and they did. And now he just replicates back to where Rosh was. They'll take Rosh.
Yeah.
He's not going to have space for... Maybe he will, but I don't know if he'll grab
Maybe you drop
Aegis.
Lincolns for Aegis.
I feel like he kind of needs it. I would put cheese on Sumail. Okay. I guess they're going to give the Aegis to Sumail. Morphling won't grab anything, and cheese goes to PBD, I guess.
So this is where I feel like Vega, although they're winning the fights right now, they might just lose now. Because like with the Aegis, you can just barrel down either mid or top and just get mega creeps. As long as you have buybacks, EG's in pretty good position still, unless they just get horribly out of position. And Vega, I feel like they're the ones that need to initiate to have any chance in this fight.
They definitely have to. If they lose any fight in a major way, such as like 2 or 3 hero advantage for EG, the game ends. So they have to have a perfect fight here.
Universe has the Aghanim Scepter at base. Not going to have it for this fight, it seems.
I like Meg's position here. God, the stun range on that is ridiculous.
It's the Lurker,
it's
man.
It's the whole screen. They have wards down. They can see the enemy team.
Yep, and Universe looking for a potential initiation. He's going to find out Sioma, who's going to probably snowball up. Sumail jumps in with the Shivas. Mag at half
could die here.
HP. That's who they really want to kill. He has Burrow available, and there we go. We're going to see the Lurker come into play yet again.
He gets Sumail.
Sentry is down. They're going to see him very easily. Fear getting bashed by the newly picked up basher of Pasha.
Sumail's
Not
going to die.
to take him out as the Aegis is used. Here comes No One doing some burst damage to PPD, who pops the cheese for himself. Universe gets him stuck inside the cogs. The toss onto his teammate as Ogre Magi, the Fear, dies, buys back into the game. Meanwhile, top lane, Mega Creeps, Arteezy playing the Admiral Bulldog role in this game, apparently. Mega Creeps go the way of EG with only 1 buyback used.
And this is the really potentially game over point for Vega here.
Yeah, and
Not
Arteezy can
only-
just kite very highly here, as everybody is just completely spread out over the minimap, as you can see. Arteezy still has waveform up, and they're going to blow up Sioma. very easily. Sumail, in the meantime, has ult in another 6 seconds as the Ancient is being beaten down. It looks like EG is going to take game 1 of this winner bracket best of 3 as GGs are called. Remember, the loser of this best of 3 will face Alliance tomorrow. The winner goes on to the best of 5 grand finals the day after tomorrow. But what a freaking game 1.
No kidding. At the last fight there, they basically traded 4 of EG fighting while Arteezy backdoored, which is not really a backdoor. He took the racks when nobody was able to defend against him, but absolutely worth it there. It also cost him a buyback on Ogre, but finishing the Mega Creeps makes it straightforward. They don't have to mess anymore. Everything is good to go. So a super sick game 1. Game 2 is going to be on the different server, so we'll see if EG can play as well on that one.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting stat about that, although I haven't really checked for this. Season 2, EG lost literally every single game on Luxembourg.
I have a feeling they're a bit morale lost
It's
when they
more
have that
mental
extra
than
game.
anything, for sure.
I'm sure it is.
For sure. But anyway, that's game 1 of this best of 3, so stay tuned. We'll be back with game 2. Quick commercial break, and we'll see what the panel thinks about this.
Isn't Wi-Fi great? You can browse the web anywhere.